How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about our second drip marketed character for version 1.3. And as we know, we first got Yanagi, who is going to be Anomaly plus Electric. And this time we are getting Lighter, who is going to be Fire slash Stun. Now, in all honesty, this kind of took me aback in regards to the role itself, not really the element. Now, I do think we have a lot of the fire element in the Sons of Calydon for the most part, but it seems that we are not getting a full Section 6 patch, so there is no Miyabi, there is no Harumasa, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But there are some hints that we may be getting Miyabi soon, which I'll talk about later. But for the most part, Lighter will be coming in the second half of version 1.3, which is very exciting to see. And for the most part, I do want to say before we get into Lighter himself and what he means for the meta, who he has to stand against, we do have I exited the wrong freaking tab. We do have a extra video that I do want to make talking about all the changes that they want to make for the game coming up, and there's a lot of really crazy stuff that they are going to change, so make sure to leave a sub, comment, all the different type of stuff, and I'll be making a video about that soon. But going into Lighter, how good is Lighter going to be, and where does he fit into the roles of Zenless 0? So for the most part, him being Sons of Calydon, of course, is going to be part of that team that we have right now with Lucy, with Piper, with Bernice, and Caesar. A lot of really good characters that come out of the Sons of Calydon faction. So there are some mixing and matching that we can probably do in there with something like Piper, let's say Lighter, and we have Bernice. I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we could possibly do. I do think the stunners and the defense characters are kind of fighting for the same role right now in terms of the team compositions that we are looking at the current moment. We don't have a static attack-based character from the Sons of Calydon. So that's the one thing that did take me back. I did think that Lighter was going to be that one character. Well, that was going to be fire plus attack, because we don't have a traditional DPS at the current moment from the Sons of Calydon that is an attack based character that is not based on another type of role. So that did take me aback when I did see that. But going into the next few things, what does he have to fight against? Who does he have to worry about when it comes to his role as a stunner and what he could possibly do? As you may know, we do have 3 different stunners in the game, if I'm not wrong. One of them being Chingy, of course, with how amazing she is. The other being Lycan, and then the other as well being Ambi. Now, to be honest, Ambi doesn't have to be a worrisome challenger or worrisome rival for Lighter, because of course she's a little bit basic in what she does. She stuns, she gets energy to get her skill a little bit up, and then once she gets her skill up, she uses it to get a little bit extra days, and it helps her out with that flow of combat. Going into other characters like Lycan and Chingy, there are some characteristics that they have that are kind of needed at this point in time that are going to make it very hard for someone like Lighter to compete with these guys. Now, one of the things is that Lycan is of course already stamped on top of the ice team, and Lycan can also provide an almost unconditional stun damage multiplier, which is a pretty big thing to have for a lot of the DPSs in the game. The next thing for Chingy is she also has a universal stun damage multiplier that is very easy to proc, and she has very fast days and very fast ways to get into days. Now, the things that Lighter would have to be able to make him stronger than someone like Chingy, he would have to provide a higher stun damage multiplier. If not a higher stun damage multiplier, he has to be able to allow himself to stun an enemy almost immediately, which is kind of hard to see, or he would have to be some type of hybrid impact scaling attack character or something in that regards of being able to be a DPS while also stunning, which would be kind of cool to see from a character, and that would kind of allow him to be able to be as strong as someone like Chingy, because Chingy is a very, very strong character, and as we may know in her team stats, she's a universal character. She can be worked on with any character because she does allow you to use her if you have an attack character on the team. That's where she gets her extra days, where she gets a little bit extra attack damage, which is a pretty good thing for someone like Chingy. So yes, Lighter does have to compete with a character like Chingy, who is universal, who is able to stun very quickly and also be able to get off that really crazy stun damage multiplier, because these are aspects of 5-star stunners that are getting pretty relevant right now for Zenless 0. When it comes to the Sons of Calydon faction, it is a little weird to see where he's going to be placed. We have Lucy, who's a support, Piper, who's Anomaly, we have Bernice coming, that's Anomaly, and also Caesar, that's going to be a defense character. So there's not really a crazy amount of aspects of which characters are going to work the best with herself, which is Lighter, or Lighter himself, who is going to work well with the characters in his own faction. Can they be used in the same team? Yes, 100% yes, they can be used on the same team, because stunners can be universally applied to anybody in the game. But realistically, when it comes to the most value that you're probably going to get, we don't have a DPS from the Sons of Calydon, so this is going to be a little bit hard for him to work around. When it comes to the characters outside the Sons of Calydon, this is where it gets a little tricky. Depending on what his team restriction is or what his team boost is going to play into what characters he's going to be able to play with. If he wants to be good as someone like Qingyi, he's going to have that attack percent or that attack roll synergy with his team passive. If not, then they can go down the route of faction plus element, and something like that will greatly boost someone like Soldier 11 with her viability in the team right now. Because now, as you may know, the fire set in the game allows you to get more damage if an enemy is burning. So if you have characters that are consistently proccing burn, allowing Soldier 11 to non-stop get that nasty damage boost, then that's a pretty big thing for Soldier 11, and that's going to allow her to be able to get a lot more damage off than usual. And you basically have the mono fire team, which is going to allow you to do a crap ton of damage. So you have something like Soldier 11, you have something like Lucy, and then you add on someone like Lighter, who's going to be a pretty good team for the mono fire team. We do have Calydon, who does literally take up the same spot as Lighter. So the only thing Lighter would have to do to be able to be better than Calydon would literally just be get that stun damage multiplier in. You're better than Calydon. Calydon is at the very bottom of the stunners right now because she doesn't have that extra stun damage multiplier to add on to the DPS for the DPSs right now. So you currently want to have stun damage multiplier in your kit, and this is immediately just gonna power creep Calydon what she's able to do right now, because sadly she kind of has no reason, and she doesn't have a lot of future viability right now, only because we don't know what they're gonna do with characters in the future. We don't have any more Belobog characters that we know of right now in the story that are going to take place and be part of that Belobog team, because it seems that the characters like Grace, characters like Anton, characters like Calydon, they're kind of stuck, and Ben as well, they're kind of stuck in that Belobog faction team before they start introducing role plus element type of restrictions. So it is a little bit hard for these characters to be able to get buffed and get flourished so they can actually be used when other characters in the same role, in the same element, are coming out and basically trampling on where they would be good anyway. Because you could run Lucy, Calydon plus someone like Soldier. That way you're able to get off the mono fire, you can keep on burn, which is going to allow Soldier 11 to do a lot more damage, which is overall a really good thing in turn. But with someone like Lighter coming out, Calydon is pretty much out of that team, and it's probably going to be a bit better for someone like Soldier 11, because as we've seen these 5-star limited characters come out, like Qingyi, we have one of these standards, which is Lycan. They have a stun damage multiplier buff, and this seems to be the pattern for those that are coming out in the future. So right now, big buff to Soldier 11 that Lighter's coming out. We still have to wait for some type of team to come out of the Sons of Calydon faction, just because we don't have a traditional attack character yet, and that would be the biggest buff to that character that Lighter's coming out right now. So it is a little bit weird. We do have this set coming out for fire and electric characters, which is going to be really cool to see. So Lighter's most likely going to be able to take advantage of that, and it's going to be a really cool thing to look at when these characters end up coming out, and also associated disc drives with them. So right now, Lighter seems to be a very interesting character, especially with the role and the element itself that he has on it, which I'm very excited to see how that's going to work out. Is he going to have the very best team at the beginning of the game? I don't think so, because we don't have a Sons of Calydon attack character. We have current teams that are populated with something like Qingyi, so you would have to have a lot of extra boost to him for him to be a summonable character. But I can say this right now, and I'm not saying this because he's a guy. Let's get that out of the way, because I genuinely think that Lighter is by far one of my favorite designs in the game at the current moment, because he reminds me so much of a fighting game character, and oh my god, he just looks so cool. I really like him. I'm pulling for him. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. I'm pulling for him, but I do think realistically, because of his element, because of his role, he is probably going to be the first skippable character in the game, because we've had explosive characters come out with Ellen, with Juyin, with Qingyi, with Jane, with Bernice, with Caesar. All of these guys are meta shifters in their own right, as early as the game has been. And with every single character release, it's been almost a I need this character, I want this character, this sets up the next team, this sets up the meta. And right now with Lighter, he's kind of taking a spot that Qingyi's already in, and without the attack character from Sons of Calydon coming out, and of course not knowing what he does yet to see if he works well with Soldier 11, we're gonna have to wait and see how that works out for Lighter. So he doesn't look like he's going to be at absolute need right now, or a meta shifter right now in the game. But if they decide to make him a slash DPS, that might tip the scales and change up the way his value is. As we get closer to Lighter's release, I'll be making another video talking about him and seeing how good he is and everything like that. Really exciting to see that this character is coming out, not a section 6 patch like I thought. We're gonna see Miyabi and Hasurama. I forgot his name. Later on. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll let you end the video. See y'all guys in the next one. And peace.